Hello, friends. What if I told you that your entire life, your success, your struggles, your peace, even your health, are not accidents, but reflections of your thoughts? More than a century ago, a quiet English philosopher named James Allen wrote a small book that transformed millions of lives. It's called As a Man Thinketh, and though it's short, it carries the power to completely reshape how you think, act, and live. Allen taught that the mind is the master weaver of destiny, that every thought you allow to take root shapes your character, and your character shapes your circumstances. This isn't just about positive thinking. It's about inner mastery, learning to direct your thoughts the way a captain steers his ship through the storm. If you believe your life can rise as high as your thoughts, then stay with me till the end. This summary will give you timeless wisdom you can apply today. And if you enjoy learning from life-changing books like this, please make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon. Chapter 1. Thought and Character. Every person is the sum of their thoughts. That's the essence of this opening chapter. James Allen begins by reminding us that the outer world of circumstances, behavior, and destiny springs from the inner world of thought. Nothing happens by chance. Every action, decision, and habit we form originates first in the quiet workshop of the mind. Thought, in its invisible form, shapes character, and character, in turn, shapes destiny. Allen says that a man is literally what he thinks, not symbolically or metaphorically, but truly and absolutely. Our minds are like gardens. We can choose to cultivate flowers or let weeds grow wild. Either way, the garden produces what we plant. He explains that just as a plant springs from a seed, every deed springs from a thought. Actions are the visible manifestations of our invisible thinking. If one continuously nourishes thoughts of kindness, courage, and discipline, those qualities soon become part of their character. Conversely, thoughts of anger, resentment, laziness, or envy gradually become habits that corrode the spirit and darken one's circumstances. In this sense, thought is not a passing mental activity. It's a creative force that determines who we are becoming. The conditions of our lives, success or struggle, peace or conflict, are the mirrors reflecting what we have been habitually thinking. Allen urges us to stop blaming luck, other people, or external situations for our state in life. He says, "Circumstance does not make the man. It reveals him to himself." This means that the situations we face are not punishments or coincidences but opportunities to see ourselves clearly. A difficult boss reveals impatience we need to conquer. Financial hardship might expose wastefulness or lack of discipline. Betrayal might reveal the need to develop self-reliance. Every circumstance carries within it a lesson about our inner condition. Once we grasp this truth, life stops feeling random, and we begin to realize our creative responsibility in shaping our destiny. In this chapter, Allen also emphasizes that both suffering and happiness have roots in our thought life. A mind filled with fear, greed, and hatred cannot bring peace or prosperity, no matter how hard one tries to manipulate external factors. But a mind steeped in faith, love, and purpose inevitably attracts harmony and success because it aligns with higher, constructive laws of life. The transformation of character, therefore, begins with quiet mental gardening, uprooting harmful thoughts and cultivating those that reflect truth, strength, and goodness. This chapter offers a deep moral insight. We are not victims of circumstance, but shapers of it. The universe itself operates by law, and thought is the highest expression of that law. The person who understands this takes control of their inner state, learns patience, practices virtue, and begins to radiate calm power. Life gradually aligns itself with the new vibration of their thought. What once appeared as random events now appear as the logical outworking of inner causes. Men do not attract what they want, but what they are, Allen explains. Desire alone changes nothing. Only transformation of being, achieved through conscious, directed thought, produces lasting results. He quotes, "A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all his thoughts. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Circumstance does not make the man. It reveals him to himself. Men do not attract what they want, but what they are." Action points. Observe your dominant thoughts for 1 week. Each night, write down 3 recurring thoughts that shaped your emotions or actions during the day. This awareness begins the process of change. Consciously plant positive seeds. Replace one negative or self-defeating thought each day with an empowering one, and back it up with small, consistent action. Take full ownership. Whenever you feel trapped or unlucky, pause and ask, what is this circumstance revealing about my inner state? Then work on that root cause rather than the external situation. Chapter 2: Effect of Thought on Circumstances. Alan begins by driving home one powerful truth. A person's outer life always mirrors their inner world. Circumstances do not just happen. They are shaped and attracted by our habitual mental states. The mind acts like a magnet. Noble thoughts attract noble conditions, while negative thoughts pull in trouble, poverty, or unhappiness. He emphasizes that we cannot control every external event, but we can control the inner cause that draws them in. This is why 2 people can live in the same environment yet experience completely different realities. Their thoughts create different outcomes from the same conditions. He explains that good thoughts bear good fruit and bad thoughts bear bad fruit, just as surely as apple seeds bring apples, not oranges. A dishonest person, even if temporarily successful, will sooner or later find their environment filled with deceit and instability, because the mind's inner vibration always finds its outer echo. The person who fills their mind with order, cheerfulness, and purpose will attract corresponding circumstances that strengthen those very qualities. Alan's message is both sobering and empowering. Life does not happen to us. It happens through us. Author mentions that suffering is often the result of wrong thought habits, not fate or injustice. Pain acts as a signal, urging us to change our mental pattern. Instead of blaming the world, Alan encourages self-examination. When a man sincerely begins to correct himself, the circumstances that were pressing hard upon him will pass away. This isn't mystical. It's a psychological truth. If you change how you think, you act differently, you relate differently, and life rearranges itself accordingly. He gives a profound reminder. People rise when they align their thoughts with higher ideals: honesty, patience, compassion, hard work, and they fall when they indulge in self-pity, deceit, or laziness. The universe, he implies, operates with moral precision. What you habitually think, you eventually live. He quotes, "Good thoughts and actions can never produce bad results. Bad thoughts and actions can never produce good results. Men are anxious to improve their circumstances but are unwilling to improve themselves. They therefore remain bound. Circumstances grow out of thought." Action points. When faced with difficulty, pause and ask, what in my thinking might be feeding this situation? Practice daily mental hygiene. Start and end the day by holding a single positive, constructive thought for 5 minutes. Take responsibility for one recurring problem this week and trace it to a specific thought pattern. Consciously replace that thought. Chapter 3: Effect of Thought on Health and the Body. Alan draws a direct connection between the mind and the physical body. The body, he says, is a faithful servant of the mind. It obeys the commands given by our dominant mental attitude. Angry, fearful, or jealous thoughts create tension and disease, while peaceful, happy, and pure thoughts bring vitality, grace, and strength. Every cell of the body listens to the tone of the mind. Over time, thought leaves its signature on the face, the posture, even the voice. A cheerful mind radiates youthfulness. A bitter one ages the body prematurely. He makes a powerful point. You cannot have a sound body without a disciplined mind. Modern science now supports this. Chronic stress, resentment, or hopelessness suppress immunity and distort hormones. Alan, writing in 1903, understood this intuitively. He saw that the mind's vibration either harmonizes or disorders the body's function. A man with peaceful thoughts sleeps well, digests properly, and carries himself with quiet confidence. In contrast, those consumed by anxiety or guilt wear out their bodies through constant internal warfare. Author insists that purity of thought is the foundation of robust health. This purity isn't about moral superiority but about mental cleanliness, the absence of hatred, fear, and greed. He calls it the joyful mind that builds the beautiful body. When thoughts are noble and calm, the body reflects that harmony. Every thought is a builder, silently shaping the temple of the body. He quotes, "The body is the servant of the mind. Disease and health, like circumstances, are rooted in thought. A sour face does not come by chance. It is made by sour thoughts." Action points. Begin each morning by thinking of 3 things you genuinely appreciate. This relaxes the body and sets a healing tone. Observe how emotions affect your body language and breathing. Shift to a calm, steady rhythm when upset. Replace worry with gratitude daily. Both cannot occupy the mind at the same time. Chapter 4. Thought and Purpose. In this chapter, Alan stresses the necessity of having a clear purpose in life. A person without a definite aim drifts like a ship without a rudder, at the mercy of winds and tides. Purpose gives direction to thought. It channels energy instead of letting it scatter. Most people fail not because they lack ability, but because they never define what they want. They live by impulse rather than intention. Alan urges each person to fix their mind upon a central purpose and make it the guiding star of thought. This doesn't necessarily mean a grand mission. It can be as simple as doing one's work with integrity, building a business, cultivating kindness, or mastering a craft. When the mind is unified around a purpose, distractions lose their power. Conflicting desires fade away. Such focus transforms character, from indecision to strength, from anxiety to peace. He also warns against self-deception. Noble purposes must rest on noble thoughts. A selfish goal pursued through cunning or greed brings no lasting peace. The real power comes when the purpose aligns with truth, service, and self-development. Then every challenge becomes an opportunity to grow, and every setback refines resolve. Purpose converts thought into power, and power into achievement. He quotes, "Until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. He who has no central purpose in his life falls easy prey to petty worries, fears, troubles, and self-pity. The strength of the effort is the measure of the result." Action points. Write down one clear purpose for the next 12 months and read it daily until it feels part of you. Each morning, ask, "What one small act today aligns with my larger purpose?" When distractions appear, remind yourself that scattered thought means scattered results. Chapter 5. The Thought Factor in Achievement. Here Alan explains that success in any form is the natural result of strong, pure, and disciplined thinking. Achievement is not luck. It's the outcome of thought consistently directed toward a definite end. Those who succeed are not necessarily more talented, but they have trained their minds to think clearly, act decisively, and persist calmly. He writes, "All that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct result of his own thoughts." He points out that doubt and fear are the greatest enemies of achievement. They paralyze the will and drain creative energy. The confident thinker, by contrast, radiates faith and steadiness, attracting help and opportunity. Alan reminds us that even great accomplishments begin as simple thoughts held with belief and patience. The law of thought is impartial. It rewards concentration, perseverance, and purity of motive. The person who learns to think constructively cannot remain poor or defeated for long. The universe eventually rearranges itself to support such clarity. This chapter closes with a spiritual undertone. Achievement is not just material success but self-conquest. Mastering thought is the highest victory, for it brings inner peace along with outer prosperity. To rise in life, one must rise in thought. No reform of outer conditions will last if the mind remains untrained. He quotes, "All that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct result of his own thoughts. He who cherishes a beautiful vision, a lofty ideal in his heart, will one day realize it. The dreamers are the saviors of the world." Action points. Visualize one long-term goal daily with calm conviction. See it as already unfolding. Eliminate self-doubt language, "I can't," "maybe later," and replace it with decisive intent. Persist even when results are unseen. Thought matures slowly but surely into form. Chapter 6. Visions and Ideals. Alan elevates the discussion here from discipline to inspiration. He says that the world is built by dreamers, by those who see beyond the immediate and hold a noble vision in their hearts. Every invention, every work of art, every social reform began as a dream in someone's mind. Vision is the blueprint of destiny. Without it, people live aimlessly. With it, they rise above limitation. Cherish your visions, he writes, for out of them will grow delightful conditions. He urges us to guard our ideals as sacred seeds. Even when the world mocks or doubts, the inner vision sustains the soul. A person who clings to their dream through hardship is gradually shaping reality to match it. Alan's message is not to wait for the perfect moment, but to live each day in harmony with one's highest ideal. Every thought, every act aligned with that vision brings it closer to manifestation. Author also adds that our visions must be pure and uplifting. A selfish dream collapses. A noble one endures. The higher the ideal, the greater the transforming power it holds. As one purifies the motive behind the dream, circumstances begin to rise to match it. The world often bends to those who quietly persist in their ideals despite obstacles. The dreamer, therefore, becomes the true builder of civilization, whether in business, art, or daily life. He quotes, "Dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, so shall you become. Your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be." The greatest achievement was at first and for a time a dream. Action points. Create a one-sentence vision statement of your ideal life. Read it every morning with feeling. Surround yourself with images, books, and people that reinforce your vision. When discouraged, remind yourself that every great achievement once looked impossible. Chapter 7. Serenity. The book concludes with a portrait of the ideal mental state, serenity. After all the striving, discipline, and self-examination, Alan shows us the ultimate fruit of right thinking, peace. The calm mind, he says, is the crown of self-control and wisdom. The person who has mastered their thoughts has learned how to remain composed amid storms. They are no longer reactive but steady, compassionate, and unshaken. Serenity is not indifference. It is power held in quiet balance. He describes the serene individual as one who understands the laws of life and therefore trusts them. They know that worry changes nothing, that every event serves a purpose, and that patience brings clarity. Such a person influences others effortlessly because calmness radiates strength. Self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power, Alan concludes. This calmness isn't passive. It is the mark of a matured soul who lives in harmony with truth. The world often values noise and activity, but Alan's wisdom reminds us that real mastery is inner stability. The calm person becomes a center of peace in a turbulent environment. They uplift others simply by being. This serenity, he insists, is available to all who govern their thoughts with discipline, wisdom, and love. He quotes, "Calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. Self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power." The more tranquil a man becomes, the greater is his success, his influence, his power for good. Action points. Begin and end each day with 2 minutes of quiet reflection. No phone, no distraction, just breathing and awareness. When faced with agitation, pause before reacting and silently repeat, "Peace is my power." Seek calmness, not control. Serenity draws success naturally, without struggle. Conclusion. At the heart of a Man Thinketh is a truth so profound, yet so simple. You are the gardener of your own soul. The seeds you plant in your mind every day, your thoughts, your beliefs, your inner conversations, are quietly shaping the garden of your life. Whether it blooms with peace and purpose or grows wild with fear and regret depends entirely on you. James Allen reminds us that circumstances don't define a person, they reveal them. When life feels unfair or heavy, that's not a punishment, it's an invitation. An invitation to rise higher, to master your thoughts, and to become the calm, steady force that life itself begins to follow. So take a moment today to pause and ask, what kind of thoughts am I feeding my mind? Because what you continually think about, you eventually become. And if this timeless wisdom touched something within you, if you, too, Want to live with more clarity, calm, and inner strength? Then don't just leave inspired. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join me as we explore books and ideas that help you think deeper and live better. Because your mind is the starting point of everything, and when you change your thoughts, you truly change your world.